Hello, everyone. Welcome. Happy Wednesday. I am Violette. Ayala. I'm the founder of FemCity, and you're joining me today for our Business for Your Soul podcast. We actually live stream it through Facebook every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Today, our guest is so amazing. She was actually my guest last week on our IG series, and we had such a good time that I actually messaged her publicist to make sure she was on the podcast, and then they were like, she is next Wednesday. So I was like, that's perfect. So today I have the founder of Dune Jewelry. I wear her jewelry all the time. Holly Daniels Christensen. Welcome to the FemCity podcast. I'm so happy that you're back.
I'm so happy to be here. And I'm so happy you got your second stacker ring to be wearing because they look so great in a little stack. So, and have great memories.
Yes. So for those of you that don't know what Dune Jewelry is, Holly's brand creates memories based on the beaches. So the first one here is sand from Tulum. It was when my husband and I got back together. I surprised him with a trip to Tulum. So it has sand from that beach that she had in her sandbank. Couldn't believe it. And then the second one is, the Tulum one is the necklace. I'm sorry. I have the necklace that has the Tulum sand. This one's Key Biscayne, the island that we lived in for about 12 years. And then this one's Miami Beach, where we hang out often. So lots of memories. Cool. Yeah, love it, love it. You brilliant brand business that you've created. You do candles now, you do necklaces, you do even like these moon ones that I saw the other day. It's so cool. How did you even come up with this idea? Because it is so special and unique. And everyone I share this with, by the way, loves it. They are like, this is a great gift for people that have everything also. It's so special and private and like memory wise. How did you come up with the idea?
Well, I was actually working in real estate in the Boston real estate market. And my childhood best friend was making ornaments out of sand. And I loved, obviously loved the idea. And we started working together. I was helping her build that business. And we were both of us were like, hey, what's the next step? Because people would see these ornaments and they would have this aha moment of like, oh my gosh, can I use sand from my honeymoon? Or there's this childhood beach house that we used to go to and we had to sell it and it was so special. Can we get sand from there? And so there was this like moment where she and I realized how sentimental specific locations are to people. And so we started taking jewelry classes, random inlay classes and things like that in Waltham, Massachusetts. And ultimately she decided to stick with the snowflakes and raise her 3 boys. And I decided to pursue the jewelry, and here we are, fast forward 10 years. And we're actually talking about coming back together and opening a flagship store on Cape Cod. So pretty cool how things.
Yes, they are awesome. I love that. I think my favorite business stories are the ones that are created based on a love and a passion that someone has, and then that desire to bring it out to others. I think that's my favorite because you most likely didn't have a business plan. You weren't like, oh, I'm going to, you just kind of were like, this is cool, right? Is that how it's like start?
Yeah, I mean, that's the wild part is it was after the fact when I started talking to my business mentor at SCORE Boston. And he's like, well, let me see your business plan. And we were 2.5 years in at this point. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, I don't have one. It was really fueled by passion and just this revelation, how coveted like something that was tangible was for people. I think like with this particular necklace, which hasn't launched yet, I love the simplicity of it, but I tend to find myself holding on to it and kind of feeling it. And this is actually sand from Fiji, where I want to go someday. This is my bucket list manifestation necklace right here. Okay. But just when you're able to have a tangible reminder of something, I think it's so special. More so now today when everything is in our phones. I think I had mentioned this to you previously, all of our pictures are in our phones, all of our memories are like here. Yeah. But now they can also be here. So that's the cool part.
I do the same thing with the Tulum one. It's such I just touch it all day long when I'm wearing it. I love it. I was going to ask you, what I loved is last time we chatted, we talked about 2020. It's been obviously the most bizarre year ever. Mm-hmm. It has been what we thought is not, or what we thought would be could never. It has been like opposite day. If opposite day was a year. And I know that you just celebrated your 10th anniversary. We did as well, FemCity. So congrats for a decade.
I love that. We're anniversary twins.
Exactly.
10 years is a long time. You know, they say, or maybe was it you that told, no, who the heck said it? Rachel Rubin. She said, if you've been doing something for 10 years and you've succeeded at it, you are considered a master of your craft or a master of that thing, which I thought was really cool.
Love it. So how have you pivoted during this time? And my intention in asking that is people probably see you as this incredibly successful woman. You have a beautiful family. I follow you on Instagram. Your lifestyle is just really beautiful. It's just so it's really lovely. How has this year pivoted for you, or rather, what have you done this year? Especially it was a 10th anniversary. I'm sure you had a lot of big plans. How has the whole thing happened? And I'm trying to see how we can give advice to those that are perhaps still struggling in that moment of trying to pivot and trying to grasp of like, how do we continue to be successful brands?
Yeah, it is. Well, first of all, perceptions of other people's lives and things like that are always just a little, I mean, sometimes they're wildly off. Right. And then other times they're still, because we're never going to put out, well, that's not true. Many people do. I, as a business owner, I'm not going to put out all the bad parts, right? Because not because I'm inauthentic. I think we're a very, very authentic brand, but because I appreciate the happy moments, and I appreciate, I strive and make decisions to be happy every single day, and I choose happiness. So that's the type of stuff I put on social media. But I mean, right around March 23rd, I want to say, I mean, everything turned off, Violet. Like 70% of our revenue was gone. So I had just invested a significant amount of money in rebranding for our 10-year anniversary, and it was such a really great experience I had with Parlor Brand Studio in Framingham, Massachusetts. They were unbelievable, and we did this huge photo shoot that we had never done before, and did this entire rebrand. And then the light switch, it just switched off because all of our retail partners were shut down. So we shipped to over 600 retail partners all over the world, the Caribbean, many retailers in Florida, all these beautiful retail partners, and they shut down. So it's hard to really fathom, the revenue shutting off, but you can't shut off your expenses like that. Yeah. You can definitely pull back very quickly, but no matter how quickly you pull back and how many really crappy decisions you have to make, those expenses aren't going to shut off just like the lights shut off. So I had to make really difficult decisions. I had to lay people off that I never dreamt I would ever be parting ways with, whether it be temporary or not. But then you have to step back and realize, like, for me, it was like, do I still want to be, it got so hard at one point. I'm like, am I doing this? Am I going to continue on this journey? Right. And I was like, hell yeah. Like, this is the greatest adventure of my life. And right now it sucks, pardon my frank nature, but it really sucked, and it was hard, and it was sad. And then, so I think at that point I could have said, no. Yeah. Let's just save everything we can save and let this sinking ship go down. But that's insane, especially if you love what you do. And I love what I do, and I love my team. So I quickly made some really difficult decisions that I didn't want to make. And then at that point, it was just like preserving cash and right. preserving the greatest people that I worked with. Yeah. And they're all great. So, yeah. That's a whole other conversation. So it was just like, hold on to your cash, hold on to your hats, let's do this. And then we made the pivot from all of those holes, that 70% business coming in, and we started, reaching out more to our e-commerce customers and the people closest to Dune that have been with us for years and years and years. And then, I think women have a hard time asking for help or asking for things in general. And we were like, hey guys, between social media and Facebook and Instagram and through our email campaigns, it was like, shit's going down.
Yeah.
So we need you, and we need you now. And we need you to just grassroots, tell word of mouth, tell your friends, if you love Dune, now's the time to support us and come in. And that ask is hard, right? Like,
So hard. I don't know why women, and I can't remember, Holly, we talked about this last week. I don't know why.
I don't think we did, but
I don't think we did, but this is a whole other, is that I don't know why women, and I myself included, by the way, like I just got comfortable in asking for everything now. Now I'm like, the dishes, vacuum.
Maybe we did. Maybe we did talk a little bit about it.
Women have a hard time asking. I don't know where we thought it was wrong to ask, or makes us weak, or it makes us, I don't know what happened along the way, but I'm so happy you shared that. And if you're listening, ask for help. It is totally okay to ask for help. It
is. And to call on the people that love your product or brand, whether you're big or small, to call on those people and say that it's a tough time right now, and any support. It doesn't have to be a purchase, right? Because we create jewelry. It's not, of course, the purchases are great because the more revenue coming in, the more we can build the business back up. But it's not about that. It's about asking for the help of their word. And people talk about the customer generated content, and there's all the software out there that collects reviews and this and that, and that's all great, and it's very important for business. But when you can get that grassroots word of mouth and people talking, and that's huge. And that's kind of what we did to pivot.
I have to say, when I'm listening to you, what phrase comes to mind is that phrase, I didn't come this far to only come this far.
Totally.
It reminds me. And the other day I was talking to a friend of mine her husband is in an industry that, like so many, right, really hit a bottom. And all he kept saying is, I didn't come this far. Like, this is not going to be the year. Like, I refuse to let it. And the perception of like coming at it from that perspective, that mindset of like, no, you knocked me down 2020, like you took all this away. I'm still going to, figure out how to do this. I'm going to keep going into my dreams. But that literally, as I'm hearing you speak, I was like, that's all I thought about, is like, I didn't come this far to only come this far. Like,
I love that. I love that saying. Love that saying. And then on the other hand, you also want to give people the permission, or maybe you did. It's okay. Like, if people did come this far and they said, I don't love it anymore. That's the other part of being a woman, that kind of innate guilt about nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know where that comes from either, but who cares? Like, if this is your journey and maybe this was your end and you don't love it anymore, that's okay. Because you know what? In 2021, some idea is going to come to you, and it's going to start, if you've got that natural entrepreneurial spirit, or you want to help people, it's going to come again. It will. There's a great book, and I can't remember the author's name.
It'll come to you.
Yeah. But it's about ideas, and how, a lot of people think they're going to be this one hit wonder. They had this one great idea, and maybe they had a successful business, but they moved on from it, and they feel like they're never going to have it again. That's just not the case.
Right. I love that. I think that 2020, brother, I don't think I know. I've seen so many women using this time to say, this no longer serves me. This no longer fills my cup. This is no longer, like, 2020 shared perspective for those that were probably thinking about, you know what, it's time to write that book instead of working on this, or it's time for me to, move to Italy and do that. So I think it's also been that place where you're giving yourself grace to say, yeah, I think this is my exit, my pivot, to shift into a place where I really would rather be, or a new passion that you have. So I love that you shared that you have the permission to do that. This is the best year to do that.
I really think it is. And you kind of have that excuse. If you go crazy, like nutso with all these ideas, or you change it's okay, because you can look back and be like, it was 2020, right? Like, whatever you may think of it, it was 2020, and that was my thing. So 2020 is your year to go crazy if you need to. But if that's not your journey and you want to save your business or grow your business, or then you just buckle down and figure out ways to bootstrap and do it inexpensively. This is about cash preservation and doing things with less than you thought you were going to have.
Yeah.
So
For sure. And I found that so many people are like, just remove some of those things. Like, I have girlfriends of mine that are like, I don't need that anymore, or this doesn't, and just kind of like even consolidating with every aspect of their life and just having that clarity for the first time, because it's like a default. Like everyone's like, okay, we're here. I don't want to say rock bottom, but I've hit rock bottom twice. And I always say the beautiful light that comes through when you're at rock bottom is you realize what really is important and what really your attention should be at, because you're at that point where everything's already exploding, that, okay, what really matters? That's what I'm going to focus on. And then you can kind of create and design your life from that new perspective.
I agree 1,000,000%. And also it being 2020, I thought I had a little more quiet time here in the house. Do you hear the background noise on my side?
No.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah, 2020. I was gonna say my next door neighbor plays big up on music all day. I think that happened last time we met, and she works outside. The music must be, I don't even, like club level music. So, so I'm like, what am I doing wrong with my life that I'm not playing reggaeton and dancing outside at 8:30 in the afternoon?
Oh, so funny. Yeah.
Final advice that you have for femmes that are looking perhaps right now to go with their passion project, much like you did. They have this, maybe they've taken a class or 2 classes and they've said, you know what, I really want to move forward in this direction. What advice would you give to them to follow through with their love?
I think one of the most important things that we talked about last time is the notion that done is better than perfect. Because if they have that idea and they're on the cusp and they're just waiting because they want to perfect the logo and they want to perfect the color palette and they want to perfect, you want to have a great product, right? But maybe it's not perfect, but at least get it out there, get the momentum going, because once you have the momentum, everything else starts to follow. And in my experience and in other business owners' experience that I've talked to. So I think don't wait. And I know that sounds simple, but it's true, because the longer you wait, the more reasons you're going to find to not do it, or the more flaws you're going to find in your plan, or right? Like just get it going, jump in, and then you can refine it. It doesn't have to be perfect the first time, because once you get going, you can sit back and really get real life experience to refine your idea, your product, your service. And because trust me, people are going to tell you, they'll let you know. And that's the other thing, is just to make sure you don't have an ego in the sense of customer feedback. You're going to get it no matter what. And sometimes people are just mean and they give critical feedback, but sometimes it's valid and you need to hear that and you need to absorb it. And then you refine your product, service, whatever you're doing, and then move forward.
Yeah. Your first tip, it's so funny because I started a PR agency for environmental initiatives like 10 years ago or 15 years ago. And I was pitching that out to people. Like I was at networking events, FemCity specifically. I had just started FemCity too. And I was like, yeah, I do environmental, sustainable PR. And I ended up getting a lead. And I interviewed for that, and it ended up being a $20,000 contract, which was insane. Like,
wow.
And I hadn't even created a website. I hadn't even done my LLC paperwork, that they were like, okay, send us all the other things so we can send you a check. I didn't even have a bank account. I had to go and rush and do all that. So when you say like, just move forward in it, and it's not going to be perfect and you may not be ready, that is that literally, I didn't know. I was like, okay, yeah, sure. I ran to the bank and I like filed everything, and I went on sunbiz.org and I filed the LLC, and I was like, oh my God. Yeah. And then it just took off from there. So yeah, you don't have to have it already with your website and your logo. Like just move in that direction, and then all the opportunities.
Absolutely. And it's great if you do. Some people are just buttoned up, right? They've got it all together. I just am not that person. And I also have to absorb people's feedback. That's the only way Dune has grown, is listening to what the customers wanted and then executing, promising it and then executing it. And also execution is huge. You can have 10 million ideas. I think that ties back into the done is better than perfect.
Right.
You can have 10 million ideas. I have business ideas every single day, like every day. But the difference between a successful business person and a not successful business person is the execution, right? So I'm a successful jewelry brand, but I'm not a successful healthy fast food restaurant owner. That's an idea that always comes through my mind about how you could take like a McDonald's and totally tweak it with good ingredients and this and that. But I'm not executing it. So
I love that. How can femmes find you? Obviously, Dune Jewelry on Instagram is I follow you also personally. How do you want femmes to learn more about Dune Jewelry?
DuneJewelry.com, at Dune Jewelry on Facebook, on Instagram, and then my personal handle on Instagram is Sandy Hands, Sandy__hands.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. This was so great. Thank you so much, Holly, for sharing yourself with us again. I loved our conversation last week, and I hope that you will come back because today was amazing as well. You're always, what I love most about you is that you're just so open about your story and you want others to succeed and you just share freely. And I love that about you.
Oh, I appreciate that. I think otherwise it's not, what's the point? I think it's important for people to know that, like I had told you previously, if I can do it, anyone can do it. And I truly believe that. And that's not diminishing my value or work ethic or anything or knowledge, intelligence, nothing like that. But I just believe, now you can hear the background noise. I'm sorry.
I have 2 kids and a dog and a neighbor that plays the Bigaton. So and it's 2020. So
listen, it's 2020. So we're gonna look back at all of this and be like, that was so awesome. But yeah, it all comes from the heart. I truly, I believe I want to see women succeed. I think women need to take up more space, and because I do think we can make the world a better place. So I don't mean to make it sound the way that sounds. You know what? I'm not going to apologize for it. I do. I think we make a better world, and so we do. We need to take up more space and support each other, and get each other lifted up and onto different boards, and all of that. It's really important.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And I adore you, and I wish you a great rest of the year. Hopefully you'll come back for another segment, but sending you so much love.
Bye. Thank you.